G'day YouTube, welcome to the channel. This episode will be restoring not one, but two Lesney Matchbox number 51 8-wheel tipper. But there is a slight difference between the two. They made these between 69 and 71. The 69 model was orange, had Douglas decals on the tray, and had standard wheels. By 1970, the colour had changed to yellow and the pointed decals. And in 71, they made the switch to the very early super fast wheels. Very lucky to find these two, as they both are in pretty reasonable condition. Even the super fast wheels are in pretty good nick. Beep, 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 beep. Hey, Macca. Oh, g'day, Jono. Me and the lads are heading down to the local to blow the froth off a couple. You want to come? Yeah, mate. Last one there gets first shout. Okay, enough silliness. Here we are, two almost identical castings. You can see here there's quite a difference in the colour of the paint. Different batches, different years, but they're very similar. Underneath we can see how they've modified the base to take the super fast wheels. That base is only plastic, which was a little surprising. I have the 1.5mm and the rotary tool to drill out the single post in the standard wheel version. And here we are with the super fast version. We have 3 posts to drill out. Moving on to a bigger drill bit in the cordless drill. We'll quickly take the tops of these rivets off. Okay, here's the standard wheel version. Only has a short base which covers the cab and carries the front wheels. And unfortunately this windscreen has a small crack in it. And here we are moving on to the super fast version. Just trying to be as gentle as possible. This base is only plastic and I do not want to break it because that would be the end game. And like the standard wheels, the front wheels are carried in the base. And I'd like to keep each model original and its own separate bits, so everything goes into this Chinese container marked S for super fast, but thinking about now it could mean standard wheels as well. Well, we need to put this base back on at some stage, so we're just going to drill out these posts with a 1.5mm drill bit, drop of oil, and then we'll tap it. Alright, being super careful here, as there's not a lot of room to work with, but I need to get this tipper off the chassis, so I'm very careful here. It does take a lot longer. I've sped things up and I've edited, of course. Alright, slight bend there, that'll be easy to fix. But thankfully this thing hasn't seen any outdoor use. I mean, if it was mine, it'd probably be buried in the backyard of where I used to live. Okay, now to remove all the wheels. The axle has a big mushroom end, and on the other end there's a smaller bird end, and that's the one we tackle, of course, with this little grinding tool. Wasn't happy the way I had the vehicle in my felt line vise, so I've turned it around. Here we have the two chassis side by side, and you can quite clearly see the modifications they've made to this casting to take the super fast wheels. And here I am just matching some paint. I've got some silver paint here which was pretty close, and there's a variation in colours in both the tipper tray and the chassis, so the yellow and silver I had was fine. Alright, I've pre-warmed the bars, I've got my protective gloves on, got the kettle on, all the bits and pieces go in, pour over the boiling water, and a couple of tablespoons of caustic soda. If you do adopt this method of stripping paint off your castings, there is a fair risk of danger. There's probably a dozen ways you can injure yourself. We're talking about boiling water, caustic soda and violent reactions. So wear gloves, glasses, make sure the kids are nowhere near it, and put the dog outside. And after rinsing it and cleaning it off with an old toothbrush, this is what we got left. Now the bases I threw in right at the last couple of minutes just to see what would happen, and it's stripped the chrome off really nice. It's funny how it's stripped one body off completely clean and the other one's still got remnants of paint on it. I've got the wire wheel and the rotary tool out, and we'll give everything a really good shine up so it's ready for primer and paint. Alright, everything's been as a coat of Tamiya fine primer in grey. As you can see, I've used every clamp and set of tweezers and bits of wire I could find. These are the very excellent water slide decals from Black Square in the United Kingdom. They are fairly fragile, they're very thin, so you must be careful with them. And they release from the paper really quickly too, so probably 30 seconds in the water and off they come. Just using a bit of Tamiya Mark Fit to help soften them up and make them stick, as I have had trouble in the past before with them sort of coming off after they've dried. Trying to soak up any excess water, and I'll carefully roll this, I don't know what you call it, a cotton Q-tip or whatever. I'll just roll it over the top to force any excess water or air that may be trapped underneath the decal. Probably out of sequence here, but everything needs a good wash. We've got 50 odd years of dirt and grime build up and all this stuff, so out comes a bit of warm water with some detergent in it, toothbrush and a soft bristled paintbrush, and everything gets a good tub. Yeah, I've been very lucky with some of the models I've found. These wheels really are in exceptional condition and come up really well with just a clean. So I'm just going to dip them in the self-polishing floor wax and wick off the excess and stick them in the vise to dry. Even the windscreens are in pretty reasonable condition, so I'm just going to use this Autosol acrylic polish and get the pad out on my rotary tool and give them a nice buff. Unfortunately, this one does have a crack in it. Not having the revs too high, keep the pad moving on the plastic at all times because we're generating a fair amount of heat with friction, and I reckon if we leave it in the one spot too long we could possibly melt it. This is the self-shining floor polish that I use, which hopefully is similar to the Pledge that international guys use. And I'm giving the windscreens a dunk, just to give them a nice protective shine when it's done. As you can see, I've already lost one in there. I'll just shake off the excess. And put a couple of paddle pop sticks out, which I've broken in half. One last dunk for good luck. I'll just mop up the excess, put it on the paddle pop sticks and cover it to keep any dust from settling on it. Use the second one, simply repeat and move on. Pretty lucky with these super fast wheels as well. They're in pretty good nick. So I've got the chrome pen, pump a little bit out onto a bit of plastic, get a fine brush and try not to send myself blind trying to paint the chrome. These are the axles off the standard wheel version. They've got no rust on them, which is very unusual. So a quick polish with some 2000 wet and dry, got some super fine steel wool, and just for that extra shine I'll get the Autosol metal polish out and give them a buff, and that way I don't have to chrome the ends. Oh! Beautiful, just like I bought one, only better. Right, we're finally getting to the end. We're starting to put things back together. So we've got the ball peen hammer out and we're trying to put a burr back on this axle to hold the wheel on. I find what I'm doing now is that I'm actually starting the burr before I put the wheel on. And I just get it to a point where it starts to bind on the wheel. Then I put it all back on the chassis and finish it off. This obviously takes a little bit of time because hey, you're trying not to hit the body with the hammer, and also try not to scratch the body as well. Just take your time and it all works out well in the end. Alright, just putting the friction slider back in. That's the piece that helps hold the tipper tray up. These white gloves are a bad idea. You can't feel anything with them. You know, I'm just trying not to get my dirty fingerprints on everything. Here we are at the base on the super fast version. It's meant to be a chrome paint from Valero, whatever they call themselves. Sort of come out a shiny grey more than anything. But I have used chrome pen on the bumpers and the grille. It's come out pretty nice. Okay, just reinstalling the front wheels. It's got that little plastic bit which clips on and holds it onto the base. The rear wheels just sit in that groove. Yeah, I have tested all this, made sure it all goes back together before I put the wheels on, and it's very satisfying when those holes just click back onto the posts. Last but of course not least, the freshly painted tipper. It's nicely back into place. Now the pivot point is, I don't know what you call axle for it. I sort of looked at it and thought there is no way I'm going to burr that end without breaking it. So I've pretty much just left it in there. I might get a bead or something and put it on it later. And here I am, I've gone back to my old disposable gloves. I need to get some new ones. Only a single screw to hold the base onto the front end. It's already got its wheels installed. Here I am trying to put it in upside down. There it goes, screw later. It's nearly good to go. Just putting a chrome finish on that screw. Yeah, just little details, but think about it, I probably should have left it yellow because the original posts were yellow. Yep, been off and on this project for over a week now. School holidays and what have you and whatnot. It's nice to be getting to the end of it. Just a quick reminder of what we started with. Two trucks that are really both in very good condition, apart from just chip paint, a bit of playware. Exceptionally lucky to find two trucks in such similar condition. Here they are, all freshly restored. The bodies are both now the same colour, which is nice. They've been finished with a clear coat of Tamiya gloss. The tippers themselves, I left them as they were. I didn't give them a clear coat. I like that dull finish, and that silver paint has a certain glow about it, so I left them. Those decals are just awesome. They really do just finish the trucks off really nice. And into the cabinet they go, with my slowly expanding collection of models I've restored myself. My own little fleet of tipper trucks. And I'm really happy with the way they come out. I think they look terrific. Really look terrific. Anyway, thanks for watching. This has been a lot of fun. Very satisfying restoration this. Hit the like button or dislike button if you don't like what I'm doing. Please comment if you've got any pointers or anything I can be doing better. That'd be great. Watch plenty of YouTube videos. They're all good. There are lots of restorers out there which are much better than what I am. And thanks again. I'll catch you on the next one.